Pittsburgh. One Pittsburgh is a community-based economic justice organization that works with its members to fight and win. That's really important, to win on their three priorities for strong and healthy communities: great public schools, good jobs, and maximum voter participation on equal rights. Everyone, please welcome Erin Kramer.
This is a beautiful room. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. I wanted to talk a little bit about the election. We've heard that it's historic, right? We've never had 3 open seats in this particular judiciary body. The last time that this happened was actually in the state Supreme Court, back when it was the Provincial Appellate Court or some such business. So it actually it's worth noting that we're making history this year, right? And we made history last year, right? Folks remember we had a historic election last year? Yes. Where we actually stopped an incumbent governor from getting reelected, right? So we know what it's like to make history, right? We like to make history in the state of Pennsylvania. It's just worth noting that this is a really important election. The other thing I want to note is that your vote matters even more in a low turnout election. That in 2013, which was a similar election, right, a low turnout, low information election, about 20% of registered eligible voters in Homewood, in districts like Homewood, across Allegheny County, that number is closer to 16 or 15%. There are wards in Homewood that voted at 1% in 2013, which means just a handful of people came out to vote. And so we kind of, at One Pittsburgh, we sat back and we said, what is that about? Because actually people love to vote, right? People love to go to the polls and exercise their civic rights, right? We know that. But the truth is that folks don't feel engaged in the issues on that ballot. Folks don't understand why that particular election is important to them and to their everyday lives. So it's exciting to meet the candidates. It's exciting to hear a little bit about what they're interested in doing on this body. But I also think it's worth reminding ourselves that when we don't show up to vote, it means that we're ceding that decision, that historic election of 3 Pennsylvania Supreme Court justices to a bunch of folks who don't know us. Okay, so the Supreme Court, what do? The Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. A lot of stuff. They actually oversee the entire judicial structure of the state of Pennsylvania, right? So, family court, overseen by the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. Bankruptcy court, overseen by the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. A lot of our conflicts when it comes to legislation end up at the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. Just a quick example. People remember the passage of the controversial state that law was defeated. Right? It was declared unconstitutional. The body that did that was the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. Folks remember that there was a conflict about whether or not municipalities could decide for themselves whether or not fracking would happen, right, underneath their city or town or village or park. That was upheld, right, that the municipality had that home rule. That was upheld by the state Supreme Court. So when you just think about the everyday stuff that we care about, eventually there's a conflict, and it's going to end up at the state Supreme Court. Just 2 that are pending that folks should know about. Pittsburgh just passed a paid sick day law, right? Folks know about that? Yes. Right? Great. If Pittsburgh, who didn't used to have access to paid sick days, over the next 90 days are going to get access. There's going to be a challenge. That's going to end up in front of the next Supreme Court, right? Education funding. There's a conflict right now, right? Folks got kids in public schools, grandbabies in public schools, nieces and nephews in public schools. There's a question about, does the legislature have a responsibility to fully fund and equitably fund those schools? That's going to end up in front of the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. Yes. Is the state Supreme Court important to your neighbors and your family? Okay. So we're excited to hear from our next, some of our candidates. Not all of our candidates are here. We're going to do our research. We're obviously interested to hear where everybody's at on this stuff. And that you take what you hear here tonight and you take it back. And you have conversations with folks about the importance of showing up on November 3rd. Okay?